Hey, what is going on, guys? The SS Ultimate Goku back in another video. Yep, Warner Brothers done gone screwed up again. Space Jam New Legacy bombs at the box office. Let's talk about it. So, Space Jam New Legacy or Space Jam 2, whatever. I call it hot garbage, cash grabber, and non canon. See, this BS, okay? First of all, first of all, there's so many grievances I have with this film that just exceeds far past the videos that I have made on this dumb shit that they have done to this movie. To the whole idea of doing a sequel to Space Jam. Okay? So I watched Space Jam when I was a kid, the original with Michael Jordan. It was a beautiful, well done film, and Michael Jordan was someone who I really liked. Um, I actually watched basketball because of him. I liked Michael Jordan. He was a good guy, and to this day, he still is. He's someone that is well liked by almost everybody. I can't even think of, a person who actually hates him. Like, even on the political spectrums and whatever, I can't even think of someone who hates him. Like, he's that, you know, much of a really good guy. And he was a good guy when he was an athlete for the Chicago Bulls and a good ambassador. And he was, the best, guy in the league for the NBA. He was a humbled guy. And, they did the Space Jam thing because he was probably, I I believe the greatest basketball player of all time, but also was probably one of the greater human beings of all time. And the film just worked. It worked. It was beautifully done. And what made the film, I think, so special was it did have real life elements in this movie. Yes, the movie was a fictional movie, but they kind of added some of the real life storyline elements that went on in Michael Jordan's life. They started the movie up with this kid actor who was portraying Michael Jordan as a kid with his father. He had a special bond with his father. Obviously, unfortunately, tragically, his father was murdered. But it was kind of a dedication, kind of mentioning, some of the stuff that happened. And then, of course, they used the baseball element, which was a real thing. He actually did go to play baseball for a couple of years because his father, um, liked baseball. So that was like a real element they added into this fictional movie for Space Jam, the original. And then, of course, in the fictional element, you had your Looney Tunes. You introduced Lola Bunny. We'll get to that. And then you had all this good stuff. And Michael Jordan obviously wasn't the greatest actor ever, but it worked. His acting ability was good enough to carry the film because he was just playing himself. He was playing himself as Michael Jordan, the basketball player. So it worked. It worked, and you had the Looney Tunes in there, and it just went, and they had other actors in there too that were doing good, and it just all flew together. It was the perfect way to put everything together. We move forward to this film, and just by the trailers, it was just blatantly obvious how terrible this film was because it doesn't have that element. It doesn't have that. Getting aside from already the terrible decisions the director made, getting rid of Lola Bunny's original voice actor, to my understanding, was originally cast to be Lola Bunny, but then they decided to get rid of her because she was confirmed. Like, unless that was all fake, she was confirmed, and then all of a sudden it was changed over where they were getting a celebrity to do Lola Bunny. So I don't know what happened there, but and of course, the voice actors who actually played all the Looney Tune characters didn't get credited, with the exception of the celebrity Lola Bunny as actor. You know, so once again, voice actors not getting the respect they deserve for doing these characters. Yeah, they were credited probably in the ending credits, but they weren't credited as like the featured guys, even though they were voicing the cartoon characters. It would just show LeBron, Michael, or it would show LeBron. It would then show Bugs Bunny, as like the actual Bugs Bunny being like an actual star or whatever, you know. But they sure as hell made an exception for the celebrity with Lola Bunny when they say Lola Bunny as this person. You know. So, I mean, the movie was an utter bomb. So, as we all know, they got rid of Lola Bunny's boobs, which pissed people off. They got rid of Pepe Le Pew. They pretty much, like they said, they got rid of Lola Bunny's voice actor. Pretty much stripped everything that made the original movie great. And then they tried to add in every character from Warner Brothers properties to be in the crowd or whatever, to make it basically a fan service for the commercials and whatnot. That was basically what this film was. It was basically a freaking advertisement. That's what it was. It wasn't nothing. The Michael Jordan movie was so much more than that. It was so much. There was nothing that they could do wrong with the movie because it flew in perfectly. You mix in the Looney Tunes, you mix in some of the real life elements of Michael Jordan, and you have a perfectly good film. And it worked for that time. This does not work because no one cared about this. This wasn't the story of LeBron like it was the story of Michael. And this is another problem with this film. It's once again this whole Michael Jordan versus LeBron James debate. Now, this is the debate that goes into basketball, not necessarily Looney Tunes, but this is this whole thing. People for years have been debating who's better, LeBron, Michael. Michael is clearly better. He played, LeBron plays better. First of all, Michael Jordan won all his championships on one team, okay? He won all his championships on one team. He didn't have to go to multiple different teams to get the championship, okay? All right, like LeBron did, okay? LeBron had to basically instruct every, team that he's on to basically build around him. And yes, I know people argue, well, Michael had Pittman and all these other guys, but LeBron's been doing that in every place he goes. Every place he goes, he's doing that, okay? He's getting this person or that person, and even still, he didn't make it to the finals this year. Last year was the COVID, and obviously they changed some of the rules, and so it benefited him more to get there. But, the people think that LeBron is better doesn't understand the magnitude of what Michael Jordan meant and how he played. And that's another reason, because pretty much everything in this film, I didn't see the film, but I seen enough from the trailers to know the direction, and I've already heard the spoilers of the film. Like, people are like, if you don't go see it, how do you know what happens? First of all, I can just read the spoilers to figure out what happens. And number two, I'm not going to go to a film that I don't support, because I want Warner Brothers to understand we don't want this crap, okay? We don't want, Pepe Le Pew canceled. We don't want Lola Bunny being desexualized. Okay, I mean, the director still is salty about it. I loved the article the original Space Jam director came out. I don't know if people have seen that, but just beautiful. That they can just stick it right to this stupid ass film. Um, I'm so sick of this crap. Okay, I'm so sick of this whole, oh, we're just, if you don't like it, you ain't, you bad, you bad. No, no. If I don't like it, it is your job. It is your job. You're the one that is paying millions of dollars for my entertainment. Okay? Not your entertainment, my entertainment. The fans' entertainment. If we don't like the film, you don't continue doing dumb shit and keep continuing this stupid crap that people don't like and then accuse the fans of being disrespectful. We don't care what you did or how much money you spent. It is your job to entertain, and you wonder why these studios are getting sold off or merging. It's your fault. Warner Brothers, you are now being merged for 2 times now in the past 3 years. You went from what was it called? Freaking AT&T, and now you're going to Discovery. Guess what? If you go to Discovery with all these bombs and flops and not making profit, guess what? You're going to have some problems. You're going to have some problems. Because Discovery ain't going to freaking put up all the money for dumb crap that's not working. This movie was a cash grabber. They thought this would work, and it didn't. Honestly, I don't even know why they even do like a sequel of Space Jam. What they had rumors of doing a space golf, a space Tony Hawk or whatever, or space skate or whatever. There were so many different things that they wanted to do. I'm surprised they haven't done a space football. Football being an American sport, why haven't they tried a football? Probably could have, probably get someone like Tom Brady, and obviously Tom Brady has 7 rings, but I don't know if that would be received very well. But I'm surprised they didn't even try that with someone yet. But dude, this film is. Warner Brothers is in a really bad spot. And with some of the other stuff that has been failing, you got the whole boycott with Aquaman 2, right? Which, make no mistake about it, that film is going to bomb regardless of how good the film is. Because Warner Brothers isn't listening. And I find it hilarious because now, once again, they're bombing these franchises because they're not listening to the fans. They're taking away things that are making fans not want to go see them. You freaking said you're not going to have Pepe Le Pew anymore. You desexualized Lola Bunny. You got rid of her voice actor for the original movie, even though she was originally confirmed for this movie. So you're already taking multiple elements, and you're already pissing people off. Not to mention our good self-proclaimed King James, okay, literally pissed off China. Okay, so LeBron James actually decided not to go to the Olympics because he wanted to promote the hell out of this film, which, I mean, he already won a gold medal, so there's no shame in it of him not wanting to go. I mean, he already, he already got the gold, so he doesn't necessarily have to go again. But he mainly didn't go to the Olympics this time around because he wanted to promote this film in China, because China's becoming a big place to put movies out. Okay, now. And basically, China basically banned him from putting the movie out there. Um, so I got this article right here that kind of goes into the figures, basically. Um, you know, China, despite LeBron shutting up and dibbing for the chairman XI, China still won't allow Space Jam 2 to air, meaning the movie is likely to lose $100 million. Should be a massive story. LeBron bends the knees and China still spot him, yet the media isn't covering it. So that's another thing to note is the media isn't covering this. That China basically said, no, screw you, we're not allowing your movie in our theaters. So he's losing over 100 million, several hundred million, because you got to remember it costs $2 million to make the film, and also market, and with it not being in the film, he's losing money. Um, and so it likely will only make 60 to 70 without China, which again, that's not enough because they're not even breaking even. 60 to 70 million is not even breaking even. And especially in this day and age of movies, you usually want to get at least 500 million or more, in this day and age. But in this case, just to break even, they would have to probably at least get 300 million, because if these figures are accurate, it took 2 million to make and market. They probably at least need to make 300 million to just make a profit. Okay, and they're not allowing China's not allowing Space Jam 2 to be in their movie theaters, which I think is incredibly ironic, because again, a lot of these studios are catering to China now because China is a huge market now. So now they don't care. They don't care that, Mulan filmed in China, where they basically they filmed the scene where basically they killed people, in concentration camps and whatnot. The media still to this day have not properly addressed this and ignored it. They just kind of try to shove it along, even though the movie failed for other reasons too. Mulan failed for other reasons too. Don't get me wrong, and there were a bunch of other reasons why it failed. But because they stripped everything that made the original cartoon movie great. But also that was a massive turn off for it in itself. But again, the media isn't covering this. And like I said, opening weekend, while it did surpass, Black Widow, which Black Widow to me overall was an okay movie, with the exception of, spoiler, the stupid Taskmaster turning into a girl for some reason. But overall, the movie was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't really a woke movie unless you count the Taskmaster issue, but other than that was really the only thing that was bad about it. Nothing else about the Black Widow movie was that bad. I actually did enjoy it. Even though, Black Widow dies in Endgame. So, which, by the way, I should also bring up, the original 1996 version with Michael Jordan only cost $27.5 million to make. So, yeah. Much cheaper. And it was a better movie. Look at this is another good comparison. The original version reportedly bought in 90.4 million domestic gross alone. The sequel appears to have trouble reaching 60 million. And again, a much cheaper film to make compared to this high-tech LeBron James film. So that just tells you all you need to know. And the film was terrible. And it was, rightfully so. And I wonder what Warner Brothers is going to say about it. I wonder how much they're going to freaking blame us fans about it again, because that's what they always do. They're not talking about this whole China thing on why China banned the movie. But nonetheless, so that's my take, guys. If you like the movie, that's fine. The movie, the trailer was enough to see how bad it was. Which I find also, you know what I also find hilarious about the movie is they actually allowed Yosemite Sam to have a gun. I'm not sure if I don't think Elmer Fudge had one in the trailer, but like, I find that hilarious since, they're not allowing guns in Looney Tunes anymore. So, we can't have Pepe Le Pew. We can't have Lola Bunny's original voice actor. We can't have her boobs. But oh boy, we put a ban on the guns a couple of years ago. But oh boy, we're going to allow them to be in this Space Jam movie. Oh boy. We're gonna allow the guns. The gun pass is okay in the Space Jam movie, but they're not good enough to be in the new Looney Tunes series going forward. Oh, hypocrites, 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 if I do say so myself. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this. Just terrible movie. I'll link the link in the description box, because no one's talking about this apparently. It's not being mentioned that basically they can't get stuff in China. And so they're pissed that they can't get the movie in China because that's going to cost them millions. But even in the U.S., even with, them passing Black Widow on opening weekend, they still are not getting to 60 million. People aren't going back. So they managed to have a strong opening week, I guess, but even having a strong opening week, they're still struggling in week 2. So this film is a massive failure. It is a bomb, and I'm happy. Warner Brothers has no one but themselves to blame, because they stripped a lot of elements. Now, don't get me wrong. If they had had a lot of these elements still put in, if they had let Pepe Le Pew be in, though the scene with Pepe Le Pew was a terrible scene, by the way. Had they kept the scene with Pepe Le Pew in, I don't know if people would have liked that scene, because a lot of people revealed what the scene was, and a lot of people hated it. And he wasn't also on the basketball team, which he was in the original Space Jam. So, I don't think people would have really, if Pepe Le Pew scene had stayed in, I still think it would have been received very badly, because obviously people didn't like the scene anyways when they heard what the scene was. But had they allowed Pepe Le Pew in, had they allowed the original Lola Bunny voice actor to still voice the character, I still think I think the end result of this movie still would have been a bomb. So maybe it was for the better, because I don't think, even if you add those two back in there, having Pepe in there and having the original Lola voice actor in there, I don't think it would have changed anything, because you still wouldn't have had Lola with the boobs like she had in the original movie. So I still think, regardless, this film was set up to fail right from the beginning. And it's just not something people wanted. Really, people didn't want to see another Space Jam. It's not something people wanted to see. Michael Jordan, that was a timeless classic. Okay, it was a timeless classic. It's not something that needed to have a sequel, or a new generation or whatever. It's something that didn't need to happen. It's one of those films where it's like it's best left as a standalone. And that's it. Maybe some spin-offs, some other sports. Obviously, like I said, they tried to plan on doing a golf one. They tried to do a skate one. Um, you know, those might have worked because it would have been different. But doing the same thing just with a different person that's always being compared to Michael Jordan in the basketball world just was always going to be set up for failure, especially in the era where movies are very expensive to make now and aren't cheap like they were back in Michael Jordan's era of making his Space Jam movie. It was always going to be set up for failure. And, LeBron's mouth didn't help him with, China. You're trying to get China market, which again, there's a lot of issues with that, but, all Hollywood cares about is money. But, that's my take on this, guys. Let me know what you guys think. What did you guys think about the movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you agree with me on this? Let me know. Comment, rate. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification bell for all the latest contents. Make sure to check that you are subscribed to my channel because YouTube is unsubscribing people. So, yeah. That is about it, guys. I'll put the link in the description box for this article as well that talks really about the figures and comparisons. And that's about it, guys. I'm the SS Ultimate Goku. Peace.